So, firstly, welcome to our Sunday chat, which I do with somebody of expertise who have achieved something in their life and are prominent. And before we start that, let me share my screen with a very brief presentation on what we do. And once that is done, then we can get into the discussion. So, let me first start talking about the uh, concept of this idea. It basically is to engage with somebody to share the wisdom to the general public, and at the same time give an opportunity for that expert to showcase themselves on this platform. This I conduct every Sunday at 11 o'clock. And if you have not been able to participate here, you're most welcome to visit dinakarmurthy.com/YouTube or dinakarmurthy.com/Spotify to listen to this podcast. And before we continue, a very brief display of our disclaimer to say that, look, whatever we are talking here is validated because people have achieved it. But still, it is important that you consult your trusted advisors and consultants and gurus before you really implement any insight from this podcast, because then the effectiveness of implementation will be quite good through proper handholding. And the topics we cover are multiple: management, performance, sales, marketing, business development, business reengineering, whatever you can think of in a company. With that background, today's discussion, I think the date is not right. I'll correct it later. Date is 8th of December, not 1st of December, is about achieving excellence in sales. And the guest today is Karaan Boradara. He is the COO of Gusti Toolworks, and before that has had extensive experience in sales, and possibly one of the best sales guys I've met. So therefore, it could definitely be very interesting to all of us today to listen to his wisdom. With that brief background, over to you, Karan. And before I hand over to you, a very brief introduction. Karan is kind of comes from a business family and has the business equipment in his DNA, and has been really driving sales in GTW for a long time now, and is quite passionate in whatever he does. Very, very enthusiastic, energetic person I have met. With that brief introduction, over to you, Karan. You can possibly speak a little about yourself, and after that, we can start the discussion. Please, Karan, over to you.
Morning, Dinakar sir. It is obviously a very, very, very privileged thing for me to be here and have a discussion on this platform. To give a brief about me, yes, I am Karan. I have done my bachelor's in mechanical engineering and master's in automotive engineering, and I've been associated with GTW from a long time now. It's almost a decade now. I've been working with it. Previously, I was working with my current boss, Mr. Toshar Hormuzji, in his previous company called GW Precision, which is now called as Ceratizit. And the journey is continuing with him. So I proudly say that I've never changed my job. I've been with one boss and one boss for a long time now, and it's like a family to me now. And we have been growing together and trying to do new things in the industry in whatever capacity we can. Yes, I do come from a business background. Business has been in our blood from three generations now, me being the fourth generation. My dad is into construction and building material transport. He also he also has a company which makes non-woven material, which he's been part of as a sleeping partner over there. And other than that, he also deals in earth moving equipments, which leases it out. And he is in Gujarat. He runs his business around Surat and in my town called Ankleshwar. Right now, I'm here in Ankleshwar because of a unfortunate thing what happened to my son. He fell down and had a fracture, so I had to rush over here, and hence I'm over here right now.
So
Again, thank
thank you
you
so much.
for
Yeah,
thank you.
thank you so much, Karan. Karan, let's start with the first topic. What do you see as the main challenges in sales of a product which is not really having so much amount of uniqueness that you can price the way you want, and
Yes.
you can really capture the, what do you think are the main challenges in such a product?
Sir, I think what people don't really understand, sales is just not about number. I always say that the quality of the product is one primary thing. But what happens is if there is after service support which is given to customer on a top notch basis, then you always have a tendency to improve. We had these challenges where our product may not be up to the mark. Maybe it is 90 to 95% of what we are doing. That remaining 5% was a really big challenge, and that's when people gauge you. Okay, you are told that we can do this, do this, what about it? But the thing is, if there is a problem with the product, of the uniqueness of the product is not where you think it should have been, we always sit and study in detail. There's always a deep root study behind what can be the root cause. Until unless we get the root cause and come out of an issue, then we sleep on it. If not, we are always awake on it. We are always on the button all the time. We understand that these are the things that we need to get it done. So customer, what happens, I've seen, sir, a lot of places, sales is just okay, give the product and go. There is rarely this thing of understanding behind, okay, is it working properly, is it fine, how is the performance. And if you stick by your clients and customers in such a manner where you, even if the product is substandard, I wouldn't use the word substandard, but if it is not reached to the expectation of your client, you always have this room of improvement. But your face time with the customer is very important. So I always insist with my team that your work, you see, in my organization, we don't have something called as sales. All of them are technical engineers, and they focus on making the product perform to overcome the challenges, whatever my clients are facing in the manufacturing of their own product. We focus on getting those issues sorted. The product will sell automatically after that. So it's not the uniqueness alone of the product, it is also the service of the product that and the team that is given to the customer, which helps us a lot. So I would say it is one of those points I always insist my team that always be with your client, always have that face time more and more with the customer, and everything will sort it out on its own. Because the more face time over there, the more issues you can closely monitor. You come out of it very neatly, and obviously your rapport with the customer develops in a very neat manner, and they understand that no matter what, at time of problem, at time of issues, GTW or GTW's team was always there with them. So that's helped us a lot. In at least last decade, it has helped us a lot, knowing that how COVID hit. After the COVID, the markets were down. We were having issues in getting the orders. Manufacturing sector was completely cut off. Only defense and those people who were making ventilators were on. Fortunately, we were a part of that also. We were recognized by the government, and we did supply a lot of tools to people who were making ventilators also. So yes, sir, that is how I overcome things.
Yeah, so if you say that the key in my understanding was one, you use the word FaceTime as a keyword with the
Yes.
customer, and the
Yes.
second is to really create a value for the customer,
Yes.
irrespective of what the product can deliver or the service
Correct.
which you originally
Correct.
conceived as
Correct.
deliver. Now,
Correct.
if these two are the key things, then typically the salesperson should be capable of being with the customer for a longer duration than sitting in the office.
Certainly, sir. Certainly. The
But
rule.
but but if you look at the entire organ world, generally when you say sales, one is people feel that his job is only to offer a particular product to the customer and that's it. The job is done. Whereas in your case, you are telling it's not done, right? And how do
In
you inculcate this kind of a culture in the team to get to that
Yeah.
level?
So what I clearly, the most basic example that I give to my people is, say you are buying a car or a phone. Let's take an example of a car. It's not like you took a delivery of the car and the job is done. What happens when you go for the first service? You remember the kind of service the OEM has provided you. Let it be Mahindra, Tata, whichever car, for example, you have. Until unless those experiences are good, you will not say that my car is some sort of value to me, right? Like every time you'll be dreading, should I go for the service? Is it really good? Is it really bad? That's the most basic example I always give my people. Like, think of a product that you're gonna buy first, and think that if that product has to be serviced over a period of time and regularly, what kind of service would you want for yourself? Now keep that in your mind and work towards your client. I'm not saying that all clients are very easy to deal with. There are a lot of people who are very boisterous. who will not understand at that moment. But one thing that I fit into their mind is that nothing is personal at all. If the first lesson is that understand what kind of service would you want yourself when you're buying a product. Second is someone who's shouting, yelling, or not being coordinated with you is nothing personal. It is because the person is under pressure because something which he has bought is not working. And his boss also is asking him question that he needs to deliver it too.
Mm.
Second thing. Third thing, we are into engineering product. We are not trading. We are not doing something which is just take, buy, and sell. Our product needs extensive understanding of what is going right, why it is going right. People usually don't tend to touch the things which are going right. For us, it is very important to understand what is going right, then why is it going right. What is going wrong, definitely you're going to look into it. That is something which we have to totally understand. But where we try and excel is which is good, we make it better, which is better, we try to make it best. That's where the
So,
winning game comes.
correct.
Second thing,
Yeah.
yeah.
Please go on. Please go on. Please go on.
The second thing is what is going wrong is a communication with the client which is completely on an honest basis. When I say honest basis, we do not hide anything from anyone. The transparency within the organization is beautiful because we have ensured that there cannot be internal politics at all, whatever said and done. That carry forwards to my client places also. There are times where we will be the one who will be telling them, boss, this is where it is going wrong. Maybe this is not my area of expertise, but can we look into it? And a lot of time that problem has solved because of that. Again, as I told, the FaceTime with the customer is very important. And I don't mean the Apple FaceTime, I mean the physical FaceTime with the
Physical
customer
system. Correct.
is very important. The more you are with them, the more the confidence inside is that, okay, someone is standing behind me to help me out. It's like your service advisor for the car.
Mm.
If he's being honest with you, sir, why do you want to change your clutch right now? It can go on for another 20,000 kilometers. I can vouch for it. Now, it gives you such a sense of relief, right? Okay, he's telling the truth. Now, imagine if someone is there, no, no, please change the clutch. Please do this, please do. And then when you remove the clutch and see the clutch, okay, there's absolutely nothing wrong with the clutch. Why would someone want to do this to me? Next time you wouldn't want to go over there.
Mm.
So my selling the product is not the problem
Mm.
because we are technically so strong. We are always there understanding how we always take the pride in doing things which no one was able to do it.
Mm.
Let it be something which we have to go over the board, change our production time, change our schedule of production, but we always ensure that the customer is being serviced very correctly. Third thing, talking about culture, my sales, you have seen that in sales team there's always a pull and push. Someone to come up, someone will push down, someone to go up, someone will push down. But there's absolutely this has never happened in my team. We have always ensured that everyone has each other's back. If someone is on leave, the other person takes care of his clients. So organizationally is what they work. It is not an individualism that takes this team up. It is the team effort that takes them up. To develop this culture, it really took me 2 years of time, sir.
Mm.
Because when you hire people, when they come from a sales background, it is always like, oh, my number, my production, my tool, my this. The my is removed completely from here. It is us. Let's do it together, and let's show it to the world that we are close knit. And when that started happening, everyone had his own back. Like, if I can tell you, I had two senior people in my team who left subsequently in a span of 3 months. Once they left, I did not have to tell anyone to take up the mantle. There's someone who was already ready. Don't worry, I'm there. I'll take up the mantle now.
Mm.
Otherwise, two senior people leaving from a technical sales team, it becomes like, oh God, now there's the time that problems might start. But it is absolutely smooth. There is this ownership always there with everyone.
Mm.
Like it's not like ye mera kaam nahi hai, nandallah. It is never like that. It is
Mm.
ours. Let's do it together.
Mm.
And that's where we have this winning game right now.
Yeah, so that's really very very interesting story, which means a lot of investment has to be done by the sales head in terms of
Yes.
his team development, in terms
Yes.
of talking to people. No,
Yes.
it's not that you just get somebody and then tell him to sell, he will sell. That won't happen, right?
No, 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 no.
So if you look at it in your own day, how much amount of time have you spent in terms of forming the team, making sure that the team is energized, active? What would be the share
Correct.
apart from doing the normal activities of asking somebody, giving a target and asking somebody to? get the leads and sell.
Correct. Sir, I would say that my 90% of my time was to develop this culture and the team. Because once that boat sails, I do not have to worry about what's going to happen later on. I know my product is going to sail. I know my excellence methods. I know where I stand out. I know where my support is going to come. But if this team fails to perform in terms of dealing with the clients, then there will be a failure of selling the product also.
Mm.
So what I did was, for example, if I hired someone who's 2 or 3 years experienced in the field of sales and marketing or application in my case, I have spent at least 1.5 to 2 months every day with them with their different respective clients to show it to them and to demonstrate how I have developed this team, how I've developed this client, and what client expects out of us.
Mm.
It's very easy for me to sit here and tell, do this, do this, do this. Maybe he'll do it and come also, but he'll not have that real time experience of understanding why is he doing that. So first, for him to understand why this is necessary, why I'm doing this, and why I'm doing it differently that any other sales team has done is very important.
Mm.
Once he gets the crux of that, then it becomes easier. And why
Mm.
I say that this is more important than selling the product, because if team understands what has to be done, the product selling is not going to be a problem. So
Mm.
yes, out of it, in last 1 decade, I would say if I put cumulatively how much time I've spent behind developing this thing, I would say around 3 to 3.5 years.
Mhm.
After that, they've been with me for almost 8 years now. My least experienced engineer right now with me is around 5 years,
Mm.
and that too he came fresh from college, and he's one of the most overperforming engineer that I have.
Mm.
So it's like how you mold, right? The mind is fresh. You need to understand their weakness and strength. Someone having a strength will develop their strength automatically, but that weakness to be converted slowly to strength is where the winning game was. So focus on that, try to make them stronger on those terms, and then the boat sails through. So you imagine I was doing sales and application for almost 7 years, 7 to 8 years. Now recently I've gone into the operation sides. You understand, and with two senior people leaving the job and someone else taking up the mantle, I still am not worried about what's gonna happen.
Mm.
It's actually growing, growing, and growing only. It is not declining at all.
Mm.
It's giving me a little time more to focus on the operational side of the organization and to develop that side of team also. Of course, you are mentoring us day in and day out. We know your inputs, and both of us together have seen so much changes happening in the organization without a shred of a doubt. But instead of spending 4 hours at application side and 4 to 6 hours at the operational side, I'm only spending 1.5 to 2 hours on my marketing side.
So it's
This,
interesting because some time back I had another guest by name Karthik Modi who was heading
okay.
business excellence in Godrej, and he was telling that the key for excellence is to really create that intrinsic desire to excel. Excellence
Yes,
comes
yes,
from within. You cannot
yes.
really force excellence
No,
on
no,
somebody. And
no.
what you are explaining today is the process which you adopted to
Yeah.
imbibe that internal desire to excel, internal
Yes.
drive to excel.
Yes.
And that was mainly by talking, by explaining, by spending time with people, understanding their
Yes. Yes.
aspirations, and understanding their requirements, and trying to
Yes.
see in what way you can match that. And also your statement that you have got people who have been here with you for a long time also
Yes.
indicates that they see a value, one in the
Yes.
organization and one in you as a leader.
Yes.
Now, before we go on to further discussion on sales, I have a very quick question,
Yes.
and then we open up for a discussion and continue on sales. See, if with all this, it all boils down to leadership. Even though we are selling something, it's all about people, making sure that the people perform the best. In your
Yeah.
opinion, what are the top three traits that you would look for in a leader who can create such a culture?
Number one is common sense. I might sound really downed, but me and a couple of friends of mine, when we sit together and we discuss our work, the most I always tell these days, common sense is a superpower. If Superman can fly, common sense with a human is the most important aspect.
Mhm.
Why I say this is it is very easy to have favoritism to get a job done. There's always when my dad says, in a litter there's always one who's the favorite. But if you stop that and understand and use your common sense that you have to treat everyone equally. Let him be the smallest to the biggest, it doesn't matter. Let him be a star performer or the least performer. Until unless you treat them equally, the leadership will not come. They will not see a leader in you at all.
Mm.
The first thing will be, he'll look at him only. Why will he look at me? So, one thing is common sense to understand that, boss, everyone is equal for you. You cannot have different treatments for different people. Second thing is, I always tell, I have done it. If I have done it, you can do better than me. I will not ask someone to do something which I have not tried myself. I have not even attempted to do it. What I mean is, I know I can climb 40 floors. Have I really done it? No. I can't say someone to do that. First, I have to take the ownership of it. Grow up. Try running that 40 floors up. If you can do it, then motivate your team behind it. Look, if I can do it, I think you can do it better. I always give them that confidence that their thought process is what matters to me. If I do not understand their intrinsic behavior inside their mind and heart, what is running, then I cannot be a leader. For me, imposing things on someone is not leadership.
Mm.
Understanding the person and making him do things as he has a thought process. Failure or success is not the question over here. The attempt to do it, that
Mm.
zeal to get it done from them. Come on, come with a solution. Let's see what happens. It doesn't matter you're winning or not winning.
Mm.
That's my second point. Third point, obviously and very obvious, I have to treat them as my friends. The boss culture in my organization is not allowed. We do not have cabin facilities. We do not have someone, can I come inside? Can I knock your door and come inside? No. I sit with them. I am always around them and I love that portion of it. Because when they talk, even when they're not talking work, when they're talking something else about their family or friends or movies or cricket or football, you at least try and understand, oh, this is how the thought process is. And more or less, when your thought process in your personal life and professional life are somewhere parallel.
Mm.
Maybe it is a different thing, but it
Mm.
is almost parallel.
Mm.
Maybe what is good for me may not be good for him, but at least I should know what is not good for him. So it has never come to a point where I had to do, what do you say, the sort of polisgiri with them.
Mm.
They're open. When they screw it up, they're the first ones to tell, okay, I've screwed up now. Come on, help me to get out of it.
Mm.
So communication basically. And ownership behind the communication is very important.
Mm.
And these are the three things I would tell it's very important.
Yeah, so I possibly would expand it to 5. The first was common sense, which is quite interesting. Second is fairness. There is no question of
Yes.
favoritism in the team.
No,
And the
no.
third one you said was to really demonstrate before delegating. Demonstrate
Yes.
what that means. You need to be able to do something before you delegate.
Yes. To give them
And
the belief, basically.
and the fourth one is just don't keep on demanding something illusionary. Make it
Yeah.
whatever that is demanded is something which can be executed, and also you need to show as to how it can be done. So first time, and after that they can come back. And the last one is treat everybody like a friend. I think all these 5 resonate with the younger crowd very much, right? If you look at an older generation leader, he would like to maintain distance. I remember leaders telling me that, look, you cannot be very close to the team. You need to maintain the distance. Otherwise, you will not get the bargaining power. You cannot give any command
No,
direction.
no, no. I,
And-
I, I don't think so, sir. I mean, one of my bosses in my previous company did try doing that, and I know it was very disruptive in terms of the health of the team.
Yeah. So
It's
I've also felt that what you said is very, very true. It is something which I've practiced in many of my roles. It's very, very true. At this moment, can we ask anybody if they've got any questions? Praveen, Sagar. Sagar, you had some questions. You can go if you want. You can unmute, maybe introduce yourself and ask the question. And then Praveen, if you have any question. Sagar, go
Sure.
on.
Yes, sure. Thanks. Thanks. Hey, hi, Karan. It was nice
hello,
listening to
Mr.
you.
Sagar.
Karan, though I've heard of Gusti, um, I assume you're a tool making company. That is this injection molding tools or these
No,
kinds,
no,
right?
no.
Am I
We
right?
cutting tool
Okay.
manufacturers.
Acha, you are cutting tool manufacturer.
Yeah.
So something like what Kenna Metal
Yes, yes,
or
yes.
that kind. Okay. So now, good, that makes my life easier. Now, I've asked some questions. See, if I have to consider you, this again from your own mentor, he has taught me this question to ask. If at all there is a five-star guy in the world, okay, what star would you rate yourself? And what would you do to improve your rating by one more point? So, if at all I consider Tegutek or Iskar or Kenametal to be the top guys, what do you think as a salesperson in your organization and now also your hands into operations that you would feel that your company GTW has to do this so that you go to that? What is your nearest competition and what is that they are doing better than you? Third one is that gap. How do you want to fill?
Correct. Very good question. And I was just thinking about it actually before we started this podcast. Uh, there is a client, I can't take the name. I really can't take the name. For the all the NDAs that I've signed with them. There are six big players over there of cutting tool industry, and I'm competing against them. I'm the only one who's smallest in terms of capacity that they have. All of them are MNCs. I'm a complete made in India organization, and I'm competing against them. And I proudly can say that there were tools that they were not able to find a solution, which I was able to give it to them. So in terms of rating, if you ask me, I cannot really gauge that. I don't want to give a 3-star, 4-star, or 5-star telling. I have also failed. I'm not saying I've not failed, but I've learned from my failures in such a way that that mistake does not happen ever again. Or I should be able to overcome that. Where I'm lagging between those bigger players and me is the capacity, is the capital and capacity that I'm lagging. If I can get that, if we can get that help from government, we've been approaching a lot of government institutions. We've been trying a lot. You know how these days banking works, especially after what has happened with Vijay Mallya or Nirav Modi and things like that. You tend to feel like a thief if you're asking loan, right? So if I can develop some good capital and good amount of capacity for my organization, then I can fly the farthest and the fastest. That's the only thing I'm lagging. I have a beautiful team, technically absolutely strong, capable. You won't believe. Do you know? I don't think I've shared this. We run 3 shifts, but my third shift is completely unmanned. There's only 2 supervisors who will be just monitoring the machine. My production completely is unmanned. So we are there over there. I've seen this MNC still not doing that. I know a lot of big players who are still not able to do that. So yeah.
See, you mentioned about capital, but apart from the government, is the private capital that you have tried? And if you have tried, what was the result? Or if you have not tried, why you have not tried?
No. We are venturing into that, sir. Right now, we haven't really gone behind that. We were waiting for this financial year to end and see where we stand and what we have to do. We have not yet attempted it. With government, it was a different discussions, which I obviously cannot disclose over here right now for all the reasons. But no, with the private sector, we have not tried it.
I think let's
Our
get back to
company,
sales.
yeah.
Let's get back to sales. Yeah. Praveen, do you have any question?
Thank you, Dinakar. Karan, very interesting to listen to you. I come from the same machine tool
Mr.
background.
Bhavan. Yeah.
Interesting, very interesting to hear you. Well, I have one question only for you. I know that you can be very technically sound. You might have that inclination of understanding because every product you develop or every tool you develop will be unique. That's something which because you may have that inclination to develop something unique and you're able to understand the application better and immediately replicate into a tool. Now, how do
Yes.
you get this conversion of the theoretical knowledge into an application to your team members? Though
Okay.
something that which we have been, because the customer will have a lot of confidence in you as a person, but actually not the team. But then it is not to blame the customer, but most of the times it is true only because otherwise, even all of them would have become entrepreneurs. They don't have that kind of a mind.
Correct.
They have
Correct.
basically, they are more of a different school of a thought. Because this is a very big selling point for an organization to really grow. You alone cannot grow. Your team has to grow. Your strength is in the team. So what are you really trying to bring? Because you can tell them about the machine, you can tell them about the product, but actually converting the application into a product is going to be a challenge. That's there across businesses. So what is that you are using currently for that?
I'll tell you. As I told you, when a fresh mind comes to me or an experienced mind comes to me, I have to first understand that mindset. There are people who will come from a mindset telling numbers are important. There is a set of people who will come to me who want to learn more and more. In any case, first thing what I do is I go with them and show them the amount of time I've spent with my clients to make them understand their manufacturing issues, their problems, and their current challenges that they're facing. What I mean is, I go with them personally to each of the clients. That's what I meant. Whenever there is someone who's joined me, I do not throw them into the well and tell them, okay, this is your clients, go and do over there. I've spent substantial and more than enough amount of time for him to understand where it is, what it is. See, people, it is very easy to say, I've communicated. For me, I always tell my people, communication is not that I've told my name is Karan. I first have to sit and understand that have you understood that I've told you my name is Karan? That's when the communication ends. Same goes with the sales. Like I tell my sales is complete when I've sold something and the payment has come to my bank. That's when the circle completes. Likewise, the technical abilities of a person doesn't develop over 2 months or 3 months. I cannot give a time frame for this. There are people who learn it in 1 week time. There are people who learn in 2 months time. My level of understanding of that is very important to develop them. Until unless I understand where he is, and I'm being very honest with you, I've faced this hurdle quite a lot. They'll tell at that moment, yeah, I understood, okay. But later, 2 months down the line, like, no, I don't think so, I understood. That's okay. It happens. It's human tendency. Dinakar sir has a very famous line, which I think the first meeting is itself he had told me, to err is to human. I keep that in my mind and I ensure that every day if someone does a mistake is not because he wanted to do a mistake, it has happened. It is beside the point that he did it knowingly, unknowingly. Let's not get into that. So, as I told you before, also, I hold their hands. I go to my clients. I show them the challenges. I show them what to see, where to see, how to see, until as I am convinced. And he is convinced, my team is convinced that, they've understood correctly. I do not leave that. Once that is inculcated in the mind, once a application is replicated elsewhere, it becomes very easy. It's chain reaction. It's like the domino reaction. Once you understand that, everything will fall on its place. But
And
it
Karan,
is very important for me to get convinced that they've understood. Till I'm not convinced, I will not move ahead with that.
and Karan, more so, I think from Praveen's question, I wanted to just ask you a follow-up question. See, the sales team generally has the job of being with the customer and selling a product, but then they normally pass on the job of development and delivery to the engineering team or the delivery team.
Yeah.
Now, in this case, when you are doing an application, it possibly is a very close interaction between all the three required, because it's not
Yes.
just that you have the
No.
specification so ideally defined that it can be done. So, in that
Yes.
case, how do you excite your sales team not to really give up the ownership, to really
Yeah.
go on and
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
behind engineering, go behind the manufacturing to really get that done? How do you inculcate that kind of a drive and energy in the guy?
It is simple. I'll also tell you one thing. Uh, in India, we work on respect and fear. Okay. I'm not saying that. I also believe in one thing, that a little bit of fear in someone's mind is always very important. If that fear of things, of ownership, if you're not taking, there can be repercussions. That understanding has to be inculcated from day one. What I mean is, I'm not telling you don't do this, you see what happens. It's not like that.
Mm.
But you understand, if he has walked 30 miles and another 5 miles he has to walk, and that little struggle is there.
Mm.
If he fails to do that, that 30-mile walking is of no use to him. The client will give up only for that 5 miles.
Correct.
You imagine, there is a client with me who's been working with me for 8 years now. I supply him more than 100 different kind of special tools. There were issues in 2 tools. What is the bottom line statement that he gave me? All your tools have problems. Right? All your tools. How I obviously feel it funny when I say this, but I understand his problem. Okay. So what excites my team is to come out of the problem. We go and search problems. This is the way I've developed business. When there is someone who's already doing a project, there's someone else's tools running, I first go and find problems. Tell me where are the problems. Show me where are the problems. So they always tell, my clients always tell, okay, you come to find problems, not solution. Your tagline might be total cutting tool solutions, but you should add telling total cutting tool solutions after finding problems.
Mm.
So, and again, this is not something, it's about excitement, but this is about the module that we have followed. It is the business module. When they're introduced to GTW and when they become a part of my team, it is very much understood that this is how our business is going to grow. And of course, as I said, something which is running has to run better and better than that what was doing someone was doing previously, because there will be someone who will try to take away that opportunity, So someone else's bad luck becomes my opportunity. That is what excites us.
Mhm.
And of course, talking about planning and the production team, this goes hand in hand. I can see a tool, someone who's using it, but that feasibility, how can we do it better, has to first be discussed internally before we give any commitment to the clients.
Mhm. And if you look at the sales process itself, let us look at sales excellence. Sales is a process of continuously prospecting, then nurturing the leads, nurturing
Yeah.
the prospects, and after that, getting the RFQ. Like RFQ would be the place where you're talking about problems. You go to the customer, find out where the problem is. That becomes an RFQ for you. Then making a proposal and discussing and converting it into an order. So in
Yes.
all this process,
Yes.
there are a lot of system solutions which can be evolved, and also there can be a lot of human solutions which can be evolved.
Yes.
So if you look at excellence, excellence is all about delivering consistent outcomes which are continually improving. That is excellence. So
Yes.
in this case, how would you go about creating that kind of a constant rhythm of prospecting, then lead generation, prospecting, converting into RFQ, etc.? How do you go about doing it? What is the secret there?
Sir, in any manufacturing company, the first thing they'll tell is, I have 500 clients. I have 300 clients, I have 500 clients. For me, that number does not matter.
Mhm.
What I understand is we strongly follow the 80-20 principle.
Mhm.
20% of my customer is going to give me 80% of business.
Mhm.
So for that 20%, my constant support is 24/7. When I say 24/7, yes, I'm including Sunday in it if it is needed. So the lead generation is not a kind of problem, because the projects that we try and attack are something which are long running projects. They are at least a decade or 15 years. We know it's going to run continuously.
Mhm.
We don't want to go to a client where I have to run about 100 kilometers far to give
Mhm.
him one tool.
Mhm.
I'm wasting that time.
Mhm.
I'm You won't believe, but my client right now, near my manufacturing plant, there are 70% of my clients who are in and around that area. And lead generation is not a problem for me, because when I'm working with a client, he already knows my capability. Once I deploy something good over here, it horizontally gets deployed in his vertical other components also,
Mhm.
which is the work that my client is doing for me. Oh, you're
Mhm.
doing good over here. Why not try over here? Oh, you're doing good over here. Why not try over there? So lead generation becomes absolutely nullified, if you can say.
Mhm.
Fortunately, and touch wood, right now we are at a place where clients are coming asking for us, which is a very good thing for us to honor. We take a lot of pride in understanding that. From the biggest client to the smallest client, I wouldn't say in terms small, all are equal for me. I mean number wise, if I see the revenue wise, 70 to 80% of our clients have come to us asking for a solution. We at the customer's place, we had started with 4 tools. Right now I'm supplying 125 different tools to him. So it doesn't happen overnight. It happens over a span of time, when that confidence develops inside them, that this is how the working model becomes easier. We have a very, very nice program called Optimala Forshub, which means maximum feed rate, that we run with all our customers. And every meeting of our thing with our clients are recorded in that. And what happens is, if everything is at one place, 2 years back what had happened and 2 years later what happens. And we form a team with the customer.
Mhm.
I mean, because of this program, there are places where my people have the people at my customer's place, my clients who are working with me, have got promotion because they have collected so much data working along with them. Okay, yesterday I was at 200, today I'm working at 400, today I'm at 400, plan is to go to 600. Does it happen? There's an aerospace company, I'll tell you so. They were importing tools from UK. A company also is UK based company, so of course the tools were coming from UK, and I was following it with that company for nearly 3 years to to have my say into their tooling. I can work with you. I had to get it. Nearly took me 3 years to get them on board. And finally, the UK plant gave them a challenge that this is the most challenging tool. Why don't you try and develop it locally in India? The first person he came to us was us only. We developed that and we reduced the cycle time by another 30%. The life was 300% more than what they were getting.
Mm.
And this guy is promoted now just because of that.
Mm. Mm.
I mean, I don't have a say in this, but see, I want to work for them and with them.
Yeah.
The lead generation happens automatically. Now, same way, there was a client who was working at the company X. Just before COVID, he moved to company Y, and then he moved to company Z.
Mm.
He's doing my job. I'm working with all three of them right now.
Mm.
That's it.
Yeah, so that is something which is very interesting, where you're telling that you as a salesperson also need to help your customers realize their aspirations,
Yes,
personal
very much,
aspirations as well.
very much,
It's
very
very,
much.
very important, right? And
Yeah.
that's where the relationship gets built up.
Yes, yes.
Now, to do all this, do you have any kind of a routine in sales, which is a regular activity which you do, which is something which can be scaled up?
No, sir. I'll tell you, I have to treat every client, and if there are 5 people working at one client place, every 5 of them behaves differently. Maybe they're a part of the same team. So there is no classic routine or classic formula for this.
Hmm.
I have to understand what runs in their mind and heart. I have to
No,
clearly get.
yeah, no, when I say routine, I'm talking about some kind of a review or some kind of a ritual which you do every day with your team, or
Yes, yes.
some kind of what kind of
Yeah, yeah,
rituals, or
yeah.
what do you do with your team every day?
Yes, we have every day 10 o'clock morning meeting is what we tell, and this thing we actually learned from your previous organization, of course. It's called DIR. Do it right. So 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock, I spend time with them where everything of this is discussed. And when there is some hurdle which comes across, there is a common understanding and common discussion of all the sales team put together
Mhm.
to understand what are the challenges they faced and how they overcome this. So if those are shared among the team, it becomes easier for each of them to understand that.
Mhm.
That's the only routine. So there is no uh, generic answer I can give for this, but it's all about communication and understanding between themselves.
That means the 10 a.m. meeting is basically an after action review.
Yes, after action review and also the planning for the next week.
No, every day you're telling, right? Every day,
Yeah,
10 a.m.
every day. Yeah. This I'm having every day. Yes, yes.
Every day
What
is
happened yesterday, what they're
uh,
gonna do today and tomorrow.
okay. So
So
after
that's
action review, that's all.
yes,
It's a kind of a base where you can again create a common understanding.
correct, sir.
And how has the learning, how has that team been, that kind of a ritual of 10 a.m. After action review been a factor in your success?
I would say I would rate it on one of the most important factor for success. As I told you, if that meeting is not being taken seriously, okay, no, we have done what we had planned, and they just disperse themselves and they don't discuss in deep, then there's no use of it. So
Correct.
what happens is every point that has been marked to do in their list for yesterday and they discussed today, it is discussed in detail.
Mm.
If they don't take that seriously, then there's no point.
Mm.
And believe me, that happens in my absence also. I cannot attend every day meeting over there, but without me also that continues happening, and they also come and share it with me later that this is what we have discussed. Do you have any inputs to give us?
Mm.
They find some time behind it.
Yeah,
So
that's very, very.
it is something like breathing is by default necessary. This is one thing which is absolutely necessary. Otherwise, there's no point doing your
Yeah,
work.
absolutely, absolutely. Very, very interesting. Now, I
Yeah.
have a very little sensitive question. See,
Sure.
if you look at sales, one of the activities which is one of the primary activities is to get an order. And the
Yes.
general motivation of the sales guy is to give a discount to get the order.
Yes.
And the general requirement of the management would be to increase the price and get a better price so that the profitability is better. How do you
Absolutely.
manage this dilemma, and what do you suggest to those sales executives who need to get higher prices for better profitability rather than giving
Yeah.
discounts?
Okay. A very nice question. I think this is the most driving factor for anyone when someone wants to take an order, they'll just simply give the discount. And it has happened, sir. I'm not denying. It's a very easy thing to do, to call and tell, can I give another 10% discount? We'll get the order. For a simple matter of fact, for me, when I'm negotiating an order, or first things first, sir, my technical team does not have say in the negotiation at all. When I say not to have say, because I've taken off the burden from them, that you worry about performance of the product. Why do you have to worry about what price we are going to sell it? It is not your purview at all. So remove that load out of your mind. That negotiation lies with me.
Mm,
But before, and of course my boss, Mr. Tosho Homerji, but before we start talking or negotiating anything, one thing that we clearly have a background check of the project is how long the project is going to run. If there are any hurdles where they're facing, is it a new project or existing project? Is it gonna be in volumes, or is it one of a project? My pricing structure defines all this.
mm, mm,
Also, the time that is taken to manufacture that product.
mm,
In aerospace customers, we have seen that there is only one of project at times. And when they come asking for two numbers, three numbers, my
mm,
pricing structure is different for that. My pricing structure for someone who's asking me hundreds and thousands is different, completely different.
mm,
So as I said, negotiation is some, or pricing is not my technical sales team purview at all.
mm,
When they submit the quotation, that pricing is given by me, they just, the first and foremost bottom line that is given is, anything related with pricing, please discuss with my management.
mm,
I'm here to service you. I'm here to give you the best service and the best product that is available. The
mm,
rest of the thing lies with my management.
mm,
So
mm,
that one headache is less over them. Okay, fine. He's someone standing behind me. What has happened previously, I've seen someone has given you a price X. They'll tell you to mark up by X plus 20, X plus 30, or whatever. And then they'll tell you, maybe at X plus 10, you have to close it. But what happens is they'll start at X plus 10.
mm,
And when they start at X plus 10, of course, they'll call me again later that, your engineer has given this discount.
mm, mm,
What is the discount from your side? I know
mm,
there is this much margin you will
mm,
keep for your
mm,
engineers.
mm,
Now you tell me what is the
mm,
discount. So I've removed that completely out of the equation.
mm,
You don't do the negotiation at all. It lies with me. Yes, I'm developing this trait over the span of time with them, but I'm not deployed that into the market with my team right now.
mm,
I'm gonna send some people for negotiation training. I'm gonna train them on all that. Also, my next goal also with my team,
mm,
that if at all when they move up in their life and they go somewhere else, I would want to say proudly that I've trained them in all the aspects of life, and not only work of sales or technical or anything, but I also want them to be a better human being at the end of the day.
mhm, mhm.
So
Yeah,
yes,
no, correct. Now, you said one of the strategies that you choose is to prepare the other party's strategy before you really go ahead and
yes,
offer a price.
yes,
Now,
yes.
what do you think are the key drivers for getting better prices in the market as a salesperson?
As a salesperson, sir, if my product is not performing and if I'm not giving that consistent service, I cannot go and fight with my clients to get a better pricing for this.
That's a
At
hygiene
a,
factor.
that's a hygiene factor, very
Yeah.
much.
Mm,
But for example, a very dear client of mine in Hyderabad, we are working with them for quite some time now. And then, recently our raw material prices had increased, and we had to get price hike from for various other factors, that those prices what we had given were almost 8 7 years eight back prices. So I had initiated this meeting with them, telling, we need this price increase and we need to work towards it. So I had to negotiate that personally. When I went over there, the first question is, oh, no, 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 your prices are already very high. The X guy is giving me at X minus 10 already. What do you want? What do you say? How can I work out? How can I give you a price? Like, that's a very common thing. Anyone from purchase would do that. But my only selling factor was, you tell me honestly, what is the scrap rate you're having because of my tools? One, have you been ever troubled because of me? Two, is my service to you always there top notch? Yes. Now you
Mm.
compare all this with the ex supplier who's giving you this.
Mm.
You know that. And I'm blunt with my clients because I cannot beat around the bush. If I have to cut short my time and make them understand in a very realistic manner and practical manner, I have to tell them all this line by line, line by line. So when he starts comparing all that, I say, I'm not expecting your answers at that this moment at all. You take your time. It's okay. I'm just gonna give you some time to understand where I'm coming from and why I'm asking you what I'm asking you. If you have an answer good enough, then fine. But I will need this price increase. That is my bottom line. What percentage I want to increase? Yes, we can discuss that.
Mm.
So this meeting went on for almost 4 to 4.5 hours,
Mm.
and we did get this subsequent increase because I had gone prepared with my data. How
Mm.
many tools have I supplied to him? What is the life that I'm getting? Is my consistent improvement there in my process and my product? Have I been always there for him when he needed the support, despite not needing or needing? That's a different thing. Has my engineer serviced him correctly? All that becomes a plus point. Now imagine if I have not given him enough face time to understand if I'm there or not there with him. I'm just giving him the tools. It is running smoothly. I don't have to care about if that was the case. And my FaceTime with him or my engineer's FaceTime with him was not there enough. Then he wouldn't even consider this. He'd be like, okay, you're not here anyways. Why should I give you the price increase?
Mm.
And second thing would be, sir, honesty with the clients. It
Mm.
is very important.
Mm.
It is very, very important. If I have committed 100, I have to make sure that I reach 100. So commitment and honesty, till all this are taken in a consideration, and I know I can tick mark all my boxes. I cannot have the demand. I cannot demand them for those price hike or the negotiation. What I do with them.
Mm.
Yes, I've let go of a lot of projects because it doesn't fit into my budget. I cannot be at loss and then supply
Mm.
tools.
Mm.
Of course, there has to be because there are a lot of Chinese product that come into market, and when people start comparing the prices and everything with a Chinese product, it really gets difficult.
Mm.
But in those cases, I respectfully decline the order and I say
Mm.
that maybe it will not work out. Let's work for some other project or let's
Mm.
improve something else.
Mm.
So that's it.
To be choosy.
Yeah, we
To be
have to be.
choosy. We have
We have.
we have to be choosy.
Yeah, because my organization strength is around 56 of us are there, including the securities. When I say with a small scale organization, and we are quite efficient, sir. That's what I can tell. We're very strong in complete South Indian region, and I have a couple of dealers in the north. But other way around, we are very strong because efficient. All of us work towards efficiency and excellency, and this is where the winning game has come to.
Yeah, Karan. Finally, at the end, let us now try to see what you can share as wisdom to many of your clients, possibly who are also struggling. MSME companies, some of them are MNCs.
Yes.
And what do you think you suggest to them for growth? Because everybody believes that getting orders is the core for growth, whereas I believe that consistent performance is the core basics for growth. And you put it very nicely, saying that look, performance and service are hygiene factors.
Yes.
Many a times people believe that the performance is the reason why they have to get something, or my service is excellent, therefore I have to be getting an order. But these two are hygiene factors. If you don't have that, then possibly you will never be having a possibility to enter.
No. No. No.
And so what do you suggest to those companies who are struggling to grow? What do you think they should focus on?
One basic thing is don't run away from problems.
Mhm.
Don't ever run away from your problems and struggles.
Mhm.
Try and take them all by your heart and mind
Mhm.
and give your entire focus in getting that right first.
Mhm.
Until unless you're sure to do that first, you need to understand what your problems are. List out your top 5 problems and
Mhm.
work towards it.
Mhm.
Until unless you work towards it, you will not understand where you stand and how you stand. Number one is that. Second, what is working fine has to work better. What is working better has to work excellent. So work towards excellency.
Mhm.
Third, take the ownership of everything that you do. When I say
Mhm.
everything, let it be ordering a glass of water to getting an order or to negotiate or to help your team. Take the
Mhm.
ownership. Consider your organization as a part of you, part of yourself.
Mhm.
And you understand, if you try do that in a manner that is to be done. For example, at your house, you
Mhm.
don't want to see your house dirty.
Mhm.
You don't want to see your house scattered. You want your
Mhm.
house to be neat, clean. The same thing applies at your workplace also.
Mhm.
If you consider your organization as your home, it will
Mhm.
obviously become better.
Mhm.
Fourth thing, please, no politics. Avoid your politics within an organization.
Mhm.
The day internal politics kicks in inside your culture,
Mhm.
that's where the downfall is.
Mhm.
Work with everyone, treat everyone with respect, treat
Mhm.
everyone equally. Yes, there will be fights. I'm not denying that we don't have fights. We do have fights, but we have fights for a common goal. I want to reach here.
Mhm.
If I have to reach it, there are different ways. So
Mhm.
until unless all these factors are understood and made clear,
Mhm.
nothing can stop you from growing for sure.
Mhm. And then where do you think is the reason why people don't they what you say is all again common sense, the way you started your chat. So
Yes.
why do you think this common sense is forgotten in the industry?
I don't have a proper answer for this, honestly, sir. I
Ah,
all I feel is there is a little bit of selfishness that has kicked in, which shouldn't be there. And selfishness to grow and become excellent is something else. But I'm sorry to use the word. There are people who are pleasing their bosses in a different manner, different way.
hmm,
Just saying yes for everything and not standing up for at least having your say in telling this is right or that is right, this is wrong, that is wrong.
hmm,
Unless there's a clear picture of what you want to see yourself in 10 years of time or 20 years of time from today,
hmm.
and you're just gonna be a yes person forever, then no, it is difficult to become what you want to. It'll always be a dream. It will never become a reality.
So you are trying to say that look, it's important that people understand the reality and then take it
It
head
is
on.
very important. You cannot live in a virtual world
You cannot live in a
until unless you know what you introspect yourself and you find out. Okay, this is where I'm wrong, and you accept that and work towards it. Then there's the only way you can grow. Otherwise, there's no growth,
yeah. Before
professionally or personally. Either
Yeah,
ways.
sure. Super, super. I think it was really awesome. Karan, before we end, let me just summarize whatever I have understood and whatever I have listed out. I
So,
just share my screen once again, and then after that, we can have a very quick, brief round of Q&A from anybody who wants to ask any question, then we can conclude. See here, the first one, can you see my screen?
yes,
Yeah, first one was common sense is the core of leading, is what you said, which is
yes, sir.
very interesting. Fairness with no compromise needs to be done. Then demonstrate before delegation.
Yes,
Don't demand the impossible.
yes,
Treat the teams as friends. Become great problem solvers. Help the
yes,
clients realize aspirations. And the
yes,
10 a.m. after action review and planning, which is a
yes,
core
yes,
set, which is a ritual. Prepare the other party's strategy before offering, so that you are able to negotiate, understand, get a better price. Performance and service are just hygiene factors.
yes,
Commitment, fulfillment with honesty is a key quality which one needs to demonstrate to be able to gain the confidence of the customer. Avoid and eliminate politics within the organization to grow.
yes,
Then
yes,
face the problems head on and solve them within the organization to grow.
for sure.
Finally, take the ownership of everything what that you do. So these are the
Absolutely.
kind of a mantra of Karan's mantra, we can say, for success. Now, with
I
this,
would say this mantras are inculcated in me by Mr. Tosher for sure. I mean, he's been the amount of freedom that my boss has given to me to grow and become what I become is uh, too good. I mean, I'm really thankful for
we should thank
where I
Tosher
am. I
also.
give a lot of credit to him for
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely.
Second, coming in touch with industrialists like you for a long time now. We have been associated for more than 3 years, if I'm not wrong now, and it's been absolutely a beautiful learning curve. Not only in terms of processes and system, but psychological learning,
Yeah,
mental strength,
yeah.
realizing everything around you, having to know what your surroundings are. You've really helped us a lot in that. I'm really grateful again. So yeah, I also would like to thank. I'd started my career under Mr. Suresh Gujari.
Yeah, who was
He
there?
was,
Correct. Yeah,
yeah, he's a very dear friend of mine.
yeah,
I've worked under his leadership for a
yeah.
long time. He does. We don't work together, but I give a lot of credit to him also because he really, really, really treated me like a, I wouldn't even say friend, but like a brother. Held my hand, and that's when that culture started. You like being treated good. That's where the game is, and I think he did that at a very early stage of my career, and that followed me even till date, for sure. Yes. So
Yeah, so thank you so much. And Karan, I really wish that whatever you explained and spoke really inspires the younger
hope
generation
so, sir.
to become great leaders.
Yeah.
And with that, especially in the sales function, not only in
Mm.
the operations and other domains of a company. Before
Yes.
that, Sagar, you had a question. Please go on. Or a comment. Yeah.
Karan, see, touching upon the routine question what Dinakar had posted to you, there is this something that we do as competitor analysis in sales, a constant we need to keep doing. Where do we stand? What of you basic routines that do you have? If you can spell your secret sauce.
Okay, I'll tell you in a brief manner. So there's a project we had been pitched in against a competitor. The line was divided into
Mhm.
two halves. One half belongs to them, one
Okay.
half belongs to me. You have to be street smart. One thing I always tell my people, it is very important to be know your surrounding, what is happening. But when I say how am I gonna compete against, or how do I find out what my competitor is doing? It is basically your presence again is very important at client's place. When you know what they're doing, how they're doing, you automatically the beans will be spilled out. People will be there to talk about
Okay.
it. Second, you also
Hmm.
keep an eye on what is happening. For example, something which is working better than us, we obviously are keen to know that what is that we are missing out, how we are missing out. There's always a constant data which is being collected. There's constant talks between the team to find out what is happening in other projects and elsewhere to understand if everything is aligning to what we are trying to discuss and what we are trying to assume also. All the time I cannot get the competitor data. I wouldn't say data, but I wouldn't know what exactly has been happening. But where we focus is, uh, if I am at 100 today, how am I going to reach 150 and subsequently to 200? If I am very clear about that goal, I don't have to worry about my competitor at all. I mean, yes, the competitor names will come out. Oh, competitor X is giving me at 50 rupees, you are giving me at 100 rupees, but that cannot be a worry for me. My worry is I know that I committed you 100. From 100, I'm going to go to 150, and 150, I'm going to go 200. This is the roadmap behind it. As long as I'm very clear about it, I don't see a threat in terms of competition on that manner. And as I said, sir, we are very special product manufacturer. We are not into the niche market. Someone who is competing against us are on their toes rather than me being on my toes. That's how my winning game is again.
So this is something very interesting. Last pearl of wisdom, Karan. It is about measuring against yourself instead of measuring against competition.
Yeah, for sure. Again, sir, introspection is important.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm telling you, sir, personally or professionally, there are mistakes I've done in my life. But the second thing that you want to ensure is that never happens again.
yeah.
So you have to be very clear to where you are, to where you want to go. Everyone has a dream of buying this car, this house, that house, but there has to be a roadmap. So until you're clear about your roadmap, then
Correct.
yeah.
Correct. So thanks a lot, Karan. Extremely
Thank you, sir. Thank you for
inspirational
having me.
discussion. It was really my pleasure and honor to
That's
host you
my
today.
honor too, sir. It was my honor,
Oh,
my pleasure,
definitely,
of course.
definitely,
It's
definitely.
great to be
So,
associated with you for a long
sure,
time now, and I
sure.
really love the part of it.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Yeah. Bye
Thank you,
bye.
Mr. Sagar. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.